Hello, Blazor fans. Welcome to another episode of Blazor State Has Changed. We're gonna let me fix this music situation first. I think I turned it down a little too much. Some people like the background music. We could get a little bit of it in there. I think it comes through really loud and my headset's a problem. Not as much on the stream. Levels are always an issue with this thing. There we go. That should adjust it a little better. All right, so I've been, good afternoon, Coated Beard. Welcome back, Peter Morris. Peter Morris says it feels like he's accidentally slipped into an episode of Stranger Things. We can help with that by naming things. Because naming things is always hard. I've got some issues with the audio here. So I can hear this music like super loud, and I see that it's not coming through on the stream really loud. It's kind of weird. And I've got it turned down like super low on my input. But I don't want it to like blast you guys out. It's really strange the way this works. Now I can see the volume's completely gone. I think it's between songs though. Just getting this Twitch stuff set up, it can be tricky sometimes. Let's see. All right, I'll leave it there for now. If it doesn't come back, we'll fix it later. That's weird. I can hear it, but you can't. I know that because I can see my levels. Really weird stuff. Voice is coming through okay, it looks like. I think I might have overdid it here. There we go. Now it's coming up. All right. So I've got this project I've been working on, this Blazing Coffee project, and we did a lot of work with localization and lots of other things over quite a bit of time here. And now I'm working on some user settings. So if I log in, do some authentication real quick. I can set two basic settings right now. One of them has no other setting. So this is what we're going to fix today. It automatically selects the theme of the application based on your OS preferences. And then we've got localization across the board. Everything is localized except for the auth bits. And it left the title of the application the same. But everything else localizes. All of the pop-up windows, all of the links, all the menus, everything gets localized. So that works pretty well, but that actually does persist right now, which is good. And the theme setting does not have any other options, nor does it persist anything. Also, if you go in and you change, say, some filter criteria here, and then you change pages and come back, then that does not persist either. So that's something I want to fix. So I want to mess around with some state management and do some extra settings for the application and let users customize it. Maybe we'll save some grid state and do some work with that. So I need to figure out where I want to save this. Do I want to save it on the server? Do I want to save it locally? And then also I've been doing some documentation. So let's look at the documentation bits real quick before I switch branches. If you go to GitHub, the project is up there under the Telerik organization. And I'll pop the link in the chat here. I'm currently on the docs branch, which has nothing special in it except for some additional Markdown files. So I've been updating these prereqs and all that stuff. And I went through and listed out all of the demo's features as well. And each page will have a document file that will explain what all of the demos are. Hey, Curious Drive, welcome. Welcome to the show. The demo features are all listed out here, and I didn't realize I had baked in so many features to this already. So I have globalization, localization, full stack.NET. So we've got Blazor on the client, web API on the server, entity framework core running in the server, some shared logic and resources in our shared project, authentication and authorization. Themability, light and dark themes, automatic theme detection, a SaaS architecture, compatible with Telerik Theme Builder, which we will probably play with a little bit later today. We've got full CRUD operations with integrated pop-up editors on the grid that talk to Entity Framework on the back end. We have file uploads from Blazor to server, automatic conversion of document Office docs to PDFs, restricted file inputs on that file upload. It's either doc or PDF. And then all of these various Telerik components are integrated in the demo. And there's a couple experimental components in there as well. I've got a rating and card component, and I added this one off show the other day. When I was trying to do some refactoring, I added this drawer nav link. Basically, I took the nav link from the official ASP.NET source code, transferred it over to my project, and then customized it a bit. So I took about, actually, let's see. Let's look at the pull request, or not pull request, but the commit. And you can see just how many lines of code I took out of it. So if we look at Blazing Coffee client, shared nav menu. Yeah, I refactored this whole nav menu out. My drawer template. So if we look at the latest commit on that file, let's see, where is that one? These are all localization updates. Where did my nav link refactoring go in all this? I deleted a pile of code out of it, though. Here it is. I think it's being truncated. So this is the actual update. I want the changes. Oh, there must have been a commit before that. Must have hit it on another one. Well, I can do it. Visual Studio probably faster. Let's see. If I go over to my nav link page here, it's under shared nav menu, drawer template. There's a lot of messy code in here I didn't like. View history. There we go. Why can I not see the history where I want it to? What am I doing wrong? Well, there we go. It was 60 lines of code here. Had a bunch of for each loops wrapped around a bunch of different things, and it didn't work. That was another thing. It's more of a bug fix than a refactoring. So I dropped that down to 30 lines of code, so half the code is gone. It's always a good thing when you can delete 50% of the code. Now there's only these two very simple for each loops, and the code actually works, unlike last time. So that all works. The bug I fixed was if you're navigating, it no longer highlighted the page you were on, and also when it did quote work properly, if you routed to a page, let's say I'll open it in a new tab. if I go directly to a page route, it would still highlight the home page because I was just selecting the first item when the app loads, which is completely incorrect. So now it actually does what it's supposed to do. And I took half the code away. Great quote there from Peter. Says, perfection is not when you run out of things to put in, but when you run out of things to take out. Which is true. I took out a ton of stuff, but today we're going to do a lot of adding. So I'm going to add a way to override the automatic theme selection, because maybe you like a dark desktop, but you like a light background or light theme on your app for some reason. So right now, if I go to themes in Windows, it's the Windows OS theme chooser, and I choose the light theme, I get a light application theme. And maybe I want to come in here and set the app to dark, even though my desktop is light. So that's what we're going to add next. And then I started highlighting the documentation. I need to go back again real quick. So under the docs branch, right now, this is the way I've set it up. Under each page, get the right branch here. I don't know if it's going to stay this way, but right now there is, for each page, a, like, say, index.razor. There is an index.razor.markdown. And if you click on that, it tells you all of the demos that are included on that page. This one's a little sparse because it's the index page. Let's go to something a little more interesting, like the sales report, sales page. So we've got authorize attribute, date range picker, teller grid, what all of it does. Then the sales chart that gets implemented there as well. So it's kind of like an overview of each thing it does. And I think the general idea is going to be, and I don't have this fully kind of committed yet, but what I'm planning on possibly doing here, very tentative, is if you're, since they're in Markdown, I have these Markdown files that are associated with each page. If you're in the application, what I think I'd like to have is, and my browser's not going to play along today. It's going to refresh my chat, so I lose my chat. What I'd like to do possibly is, if I'm on, say, the sales page, I have an icon somewhere in the UI here. I don't know where yet. Maybe in the footer. I don't have a footer yet. But maybe I have an icon that you click and it pulls that Markdown file into view so you can read what samples are available on each individual page. I think that might be cool. So that's something I'm thinking about. Doing some Markdown parsing in Blazor is actually pretty easy. I've done it before with a project I did several years ago. That it's still available online, actually. If I could find it, please down. See if I can. Oh no, my Azure account's suspended. It'll renew tomorrow. Let's see if I can find a direct link. My URL shortener took a poo. The article explains, but there's a live version of this too. There we go. So the Markdown parser, you can take Markdown on this side, and it will parse out on this side. So I can do Markdown parsing very easy in .NET and Blazor. So I might take those files, parse them out to HTML, and display them in the actual running application as well. So that will be for another show at another time. Today I want to change branches and focus on adding some customization from the user's perspective. So let's go into our Team Explorer. I'm going to start another branch. And let's create a new branch here. And I'll call this one feature. Customization. We'll work on some customization in here. So the first thing I want to do is look at, let's do a little tab bankruptcy here. Close all docs. I want to go into my settings page, which is currently in the main layout. So if I go, layouts, main layout, here is my settings page. So right now I have a language chooser that has, let's see, there's the culture chooser there. The next thing I want to do is I want to add a drop-down that has different themes. I actually have this preset. So I've got the selected theme is automatic, and I have no other options but automatic in there. I even have a to-do in here that says add manual settings, and I want to have like a light and dark theme in there. So I want to have like that, a light and dark theme. And that actually should do a little bit so far. So if I reload my app, it's not going to really do anything other than show some new dialog options here. So now I have light and dark, but selecting them doesn't do a darn thing. And I've done this before, so it might not be new if you've seen the show before. I have other projects where I've done theme toggle. The other thing I might want to persist is this sidebar over here. If you're logged in and you have this closed, it should save that state. So every time I reload the application, I don't have to keep closing this toolbar over here. That would also be helpful. So there's a couple things that I want to stash away in some state. The other one is, you'll notice I didn't persist that as well. So if I change that to dark and I come back, it's going to be back on automatic again. Right now I do persist the language setting, and that's done through some local storage. So if we look at local storage on that, actually it's in this culture chooser component. Let's go look at the culture chooser component again. And it calls out to set current culture and get current culture. And these are JavaScript interrupts that just save it to local storage. So if we go over in our www root, look under JavaScript files, there is a quick call to local storage there. There's also a NuGet package for this we could use from Chris Santi that makes local storage easier. This is pretty easy, but I'm sure there's some caveats to it. I haven't checked like cross-browser compatibility and stuff like that, so I might want to check into his plugin soon and see if there's anything I could be doing better. So this one just saves the culture only out to local storage, and then that gets pulled back in on app startup. So that actually gets pulled in here. So these are pulling directly from, or this one is pulling directly from local storage in startup, and it's not quite an app state so much as it is just kind of stashing something away on start and reviving it on startup. So that could use some improvement as well. Let's see, where do we begin? I've got my theme chooser and I've got additional themes. And I think I'm probably going to end up with some more logic behind that one. I may need to move that to a component file. Not quite sure yet, though. Yeah, let's wait on that one. Probably gonna end up moving it, but let's see. Let's solve some problems first. So even if I select a theme, it's not doing anything. So I think one thing I should probably do is go ahead and add a something to toggle the actual theme. So for that, I can look a couple places for some source code on that. If I go to GitHub, I'm sure I have some other projects in here that I do this on. I'm trying to think where I've done this before. If I don't want to look on my GitHub, oh, duh, obvious place. This is actually in the Blazor book examples. Yeah. So if you've read my book, you've probably seen what we're about to do in some sort of detail. So I'll put this up on the chat as well. So in the book, there's actually a part where we do JavaScript interrupt. And that is what we need to do today. So if I go into WebAssembly and I look at the www root folder and then JavaScript, theme chooser JS, I can poach some code from here because we cover it in detail in the book in the interrupt chapter, in the very beginning of it. I think it's one of the first introductions to JavaScript interrupt I give is to do some JavaScript interrupt that doesn't require round tripping. So no callbacks or any funny business. Pretty simple and straightforward stuff. So let's go over to our Solution Explorer. I copied that code, by the way, to my clipboard. And then we'll go to add new item. Let's do new empty file. I'll call it theme chooser JS, just like I did in the previous example. So I have window.themechooser that exposes my namespace for my JavaScript function. And this is the actual function name called setTheme. And let's see what this will do. It will take and look for an attribute called ID and then find the value of theme on that attribute. We don't have that in our app yet. Let's do a little side-by-side and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I go up to index.html, I push this in a side-by-side view. This code is going to look for a link. So there's a selector for link in here. And it's going to want to get the link with an ID of theme. I might change that selector because I've got two links in here. And right now I'm using a media query to auto detect which theme it chooses. I would like to keep that ability. So I have two links. I can't use an ID. I need to use some sort of attribute though. So I'm going to change this to data. Let's see. We'll give it a data dash attribute. Not sure what the value is going to be if I do that, or if I even need one. Let's take that out for a minute. And then later in the code, actually, here's the actual selector. This is the creation of the link, and this will be the replacement of it. So we will find that data dash attribute, which I think the selector would be that. Might have to look these up in a minute. Save that. And then we need to actually add that data dash attribute here. And I don't think it needs a value. Although we could add one if we wanted to. Let's do this for now. Just so we have a little bit of information. We'll call that auto. That's our automatic theme that we're using right now. And we may have to add those additional media attributes and stuff there too. So right now, this will create a new link. If I select an item from it, it'll create a new link with a style sheet. The type is text CSS. The href is going to be CSS theme name .css. So we're going to pass that theme name in from the what do you call it? From the C# side. And then it will replace the existing link tag with that one, or tags. So it's going to remove any of those and then add this one. Let's do this too. So I'm trying to think ahead a little bit. In the other example, I don't have these media selectors here. So these media query selectors need to get added too. So what I'll do, I'm going to put the theme name here as the value. I'm going to dupe this, and we'll say media here. And if there's a media query, we'll add that media query as well. Let's move that down to the end because I'm going to wrap that in an if. And we'll say media query is not undefined, then append the media query. There we go. And then I need, in my function, I want to pass the theme name. I want to pass the media query as well. So we'll pass a theme name and a media query to it. If there is no media query, it won't append one. So the idea is if I set this to automatic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this method twice. Oh, if I do that though, I can't do that. Because if I call it twice, I'll remove the previous one. And that's a fail. So I have to add them both at the same time. So the initial code only allows for one link to be rendered at a time. I need a loop. I may need a loop, yeah. I'll set this as a flag, actually. Because there's only going to be one instance where I need the media query, I believe. So... no. Yeah. Let's call it is automatic. And if it is the automatic theme, then it will create... this needs to be a method for one. So this actually just spins up one link. Let's do this. Let's call this from And, let's call it create link, and we'll put all this code in it. So I'm going to create a new link. Let's see. Return it from the function. Because at the end of this, what I need to actually do, I need to remove any existing themes, and then I need to create a link for the dark theme, and then I need to create a link for the light theme. And that is only if there is, if this is automatic. Oh, this is a pain. Thought this would be easier. So right now, if it's automatic, it's going to choose between these two themes using a media query. So I need those two lines. And if it's not automatic, it's going to look like this, where I just have one theme and no media query appended to it. Let's try to make this a little easier. Let's put a constant in here. And we'll call this auto UTO auto dark. And my, actually call it dark media. And this says if the user prefers the color scheme dark, then it's going to be a dark theme. And then the other is going to be other media. This doesn't care. So it's either light or let's just call it default. Because this one's going to be if it's light or if it's not set. Because if it's not set, that means this is also our default. So the default is the light. This is essentially an OR statement with the comma here in media query land. Oh, I didn't hear the following come through. So thank you for the new follow, Avkenzo. Appreciate that. So we've got the dark theme, or the dark media query, the default media query. And then now we need to create two links if it is if it's automatic. Actually, let's do this too. Instead of having if statement here, that makes things messier. We will use default all the time because it's not going to hurt anything. No, actually it will. Because if the user has dark preferences, yeah. So we do need to set that on only on themes that have 2 colors. So we'll have the default there. We can call create link if it's automatic. Then we'll create 2 media queries. Like that. And then down here where it appends them, we can say if is automatic. I know this is not going to work for me the first time. We will do some debugging when it fails. If this is automatic, then we'll say let dark link equal create link, and we will pass in the dark media query. And then on this one, let default link equal create link. With default media, like that. This actually needs more values. The theme name needs to be adjusted as well. Yeah. So the theme is still getting set to theme name. I may want to pass that in just for kind of best practices. I might move this function out. Like that. So the theme name here, yeah, that's actually going to help. So let's do it this way, just to make sure we don't have a scope issue. Why not find the existing element and update their URLs? I'm trying to remember why. There's a reason why. A good reason why. If you update the URL, I'm not sure it triggers a proper reload, for one. And then I have 2 different scenarios here. So here, let me copy these just for a second over to this side. We have murdered that. There we go. So if it's automatic, it looks like that. I can't spell automatic. And then I might have dark, which would only look like this and be 1 link. And then I'd have light, so if the user sets their preference to light, so I have 1 link in that case, 1 link in that case, and then I have 2 in this case. So if I update their URL only, the media query becomes a problem. I have to remove that. And then I don't remember if this refreshes the theme correctly. And then I end up with the fact that I have 2 here and 1 there. But there's also something with the browser, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let's try something real quick. And this is like not a very formal test because each browser might behave differently. We'll go ahead and run the app. I'm not calling that JavaScript yet, so it's not going to blow up because it's not written correctly. But if I go into my head tag, I cannot remember if this works or not. If I remove, let's remove the dark theme. Let's kill the media. Kill the media tag. And then if I say dark, does it refresh automatically? Okay, it seems to be okay with that. But I still have to deal with the fact that I have 2 links versus 1. I still think there was an issue with just swapping out that link as well. I'm trying to remember what it was. I've run into something in the past because I know we do the same thing on the Telerik website. We have almost the same code running if we go to docs.telerik.com. If you go to any of our components here, any demos at all. Jeez, how many clicks am I going to take? If you select the theme here, it's almost the identical theme chooser. So if I look here, let's see if we can actually spot this. JS theme manager.js. Look at that. So we do the same thing. We get the old link. It's found by href. So we're actually passing the full href into this one. Creates a brand new link. Removes the old link. We're using onload here for some reason. Removes that. And then updates the component. So this is actually recalling a refresh on the component that we themed, because this isn't theming a whole site. This is only theming a small segment of the site. So it actually refreshes that panel to make sure you have the same. So what's funny is Chrisic 119, this code was originally, let's see, I'm trying to remember where it actually started, but it's been pasted back and forth between our engineering team and myself. I don't know how many times, different versions of it, but we borrow. I think I might have put this in like one of our very first demos, and they moved it to the full site and modified it and back and forth. So they're actually just refreshing this instance here. So it's very similar, but it does the same thing. It creates a brand new link for some reason instead of just replacing the href part of it. So there is something about that. Maybe it might be something if that resource hasn't been loaded. So in that instance, I showed like both of these themes are already in memory, and then I swapped them. But if it's not in memory and then you change it on the fly, there's some hiccup there. I can't remember what it is. I'll try to get back on track here. I have this instance of 2 versus 1 as well. So if it's automatic, I'm trying to think, maybe what I should do here, this might cut down on things as well, is maybe I'll take the media query out of the actual file portion of it and just call match media in here. And if it's automatic, then yeah, maybe that's more in line with what I should do. I'd have to call this on page load. Let's see here. Let's back up a bit. Let's go ahead and take the theme chooser back to normal. So we've got the ability to add a theme. I'm going to take this code out. Let's go ahead and default to just one line. I'm going to take the media query out. So automatic theme selection is no longer a thing temporarily. We'll go full circle here. We'll add the automatic theme detection back at the end. Right now, let's take the idea that we can select either a light or dark theme manually. This might fix our thought process here. In my main layout, I'm going to remove the automatic theme. So right now we're defaulting to light. I want to be able to change this to dark. I have my theme chooser JS. I can pass it a theme name, which is going to be dark. And let's see, this is going to be a literal right now. So what I want to do here is say, no, let's not do that. Let's do this. Let's create a class. So under shared, let's organize a little bit. Add new folder. Theme chooser. So I have a theme chooser folder now. And then I'm going to add a new class. It's going to be an object. Very simple one to hold some data. How many times have I done that on the show? How many times? How many times?
I'm going to go ask directions to our next huge, embarrassing failure.
How many times?
You're a huge, embarrassing failure.
I don't know if that's even playing. My, my audio didn't come through on that. My memes don't work. I don't think. I don't think the audio's... Hang on. Black screen. Sorry about the black screen. Hang on just a second. I've got a stream technical issue I'm looking into here. Why is it doing that? Sorry about that. Let's try to fix that again. My audio sources are goofed, I believe. Anyway, huge embarrassing failure. I hate this bug. Here, this is a Visual Studio bug. So I do this all the time where I accidentally take this text and drop it over here. And it's a modal window. You can't select anything behind it. So I end up with this text just dropped in there. And you can't fix it until you close the modal window. This is so annoying. Why does this work? Why am I allowed to drag and drop things in there? Anyhow, we'll call this theme setting. So theme setting. Now I gotta go back to this thing I dropped a bunch of text into and fix that. So this theme setting class is going to be very simple. It's going to have a property called theme, string. Theme text. I know there are built-in class or built-in structures I could have used for this, like a dictionary or something like that. It's probably overkill. We'll just do something really simple there. I'm also going to move the theme chooser to its own file now. So I'm going to take this drop-down list out, and inside of my theme chooser folder here, we'll just say add. Oh, I think I'm going to run into a namespace issue. Probably should have named this better. I don't want a class. I want a add Blazor component. I'll call that theme chooser. Paste this in here. Since I called the folder theme chooser, and let's see what this comes up as when I try to add it. May have a little namespacing problem. Yeah, I have blazingcoffee.client shared themechooser.themechooser. That's annoying. I don't want that. Let's try this and see if it blows up. So I want the namespace to be blazingcoffee.client shared.theme theme chooser, and then let's see if that causes an issue here. Yeah, it's still not happy with that. Let me rename this folder. I'm just gonna call it themes. And then shared. I'm just gonna drop this straight into shared namespace. The folder's more important than the namespace. There we go. That should fix the namespace issue. The automatic namespace thing gets in my way sometimes. And then we'll move the selection code out as well. And put it in here. All right. So the selected theme is no longer going to be a string, because we're going to change this IEnumerable to a list of theme setting, because now I can name these a little more appropriately. Let's see, this will be a new theme setting of theme text is going to be light. This will help when I localize as well, because when I do localization on this, I don't want to be automatically converting some random string to an actual CSS file name. That's just going to be a pain. So that'll be light. The theme value will be main. We'll tack on the CSS portion of it. We'll concatenate that later. Then we can say new theme setting equals theme text is dark. Theme value is going to be main-dark. Like so. And then we need one more closing curly brace. And that satisfies our list of theme setting. Now the data is going to be, it's still themes, but t value and t item change. So this will be theme text and theme, theme value. Let's change this real quick. I may be doing that wrong. It's lighting up, it's not happy. Value is, I will set these later. I know that something needs to be set there. I can't remember the exact syntax for it. We're going to bind that, and the selected theme is no longer a string, it's a theme setting. And I'm not going to preset that yet. And then text field. This is what I needed to set equals theme text. And then, sorry, my chat thing got removed from view. So sorry about that. Do I know anything about WASM versus WASM plus .NET Core hosted? I'm guessing the hosted option is if you want to have server-side code. Yes, that is correct. Krisic, if I'm saying that right. This is one of those that you say WASM plus .NET Core hosted. This is one of those projects because I have a server with Web API, .NET Core, or Entity Framework Core, and so on. So yeah, that is absolutely correct. If I had like microservices or some other Web API thing that was running, say, I don't know, Ruby or Node or something like that, I could still use Blazor on the front end with just WASM. And then you also can do pre-rendering and stuff like that with this version as well. So I'm going to add the value field. Theme value. And then on my main layout, we'll just check and make sure this drop-down box works now that I've re-engineered it. Reconfigured it. So I have my culture chooser, and then I want my theme chooser here. Control F5. We'll just double check and make sure that I can toggle this box correctly. Oh, it blew up an error. I've got something configured wrong with my drop-down box. I know it. Specified cast is not valid. Bom, bom, bom. So that failed to cast because this needs to be T value is going to be theme setting. See if that, no, that doesn't compile. Darn it. Let me look at my docs real quick. I know it's simple. I'm just goofing it up. Drop down. Drop down. Where are you? Drop down. Drop down list. I can close those tools. Overview. Let's view source. Let's see. Value. Value changed. Bind. Default text. These are all just text boxes. Let's do documentation. There we go. This is what I needed. So text field, value field, and bind should be all I need. Why is this having such a hard time? Oh, the selected value. Duh. This is my bad. The selected value is not the whole type. It is still a string because we are in HTML and that's what it likes. It doesn't actually select the entire object. It selects the value, hence the value field. So the value field is a string, so it's going to come back as a string. And that's where the type conversion error came from. And I goofed. I knew I was going to do that. And I still did it anyway. How's that for insanity? All right, so if I select light or dark, that means that my value has changed to main or main dark. And when I do that, I'm going to actually have to take this bind value out. This is going to add some more complexity to the configuration of it. This is a weird thing with Blazor, and not Teller, but just Blazor in general. If I take the bind out and I go to an onChange event, it is going to require me to specify the type again. So let's look back at the demo again, because there is an onChange event here that I need to look at. I think it's all the way down at the bottom. Data binding. Nope, it's under the events tab. I want to go to value change, and this is the one. So value change. So I want this value change event. It's actually on value changed. We're going to specify the value, and then we need a handler for it. Let's see here. Handle theme selected. The reason I can't do this through normal data binding is inside of that select event, I need to make a call to the JavaScript interop now. If I didn't explain that, I'm sorry about that. That's why I'm swapping out the automatic data binding with a custom handler. And I'm getting this underscore Y. Because I didn't end it with quotes. Silly me. So when the value change happens here, let's see, this takes an argument. And just for sanity's sake, we'll say console write line value like that. Just to make sure we're doing something here. And I think this is going to fail. I think it will, because it's going to want some special type parameter. Oh, no, it worked. Maybe we've gotten past that bug. There used to be a bug. So you can see it writing out main. And then if I select this again, it will say dark. And I know it is doing what it's supposed to do. And boy, I can't click. There we go. Light and dark. So I can change that. That I can pass into my JavaScript interop and change my theme with my theme chooser. So the next thing I need to do is I actually need to put this theme chooser.js file in my main HTML, my index HTML. I can just drag and drop it actually, and it generated a whole path. Look at that. I didn't think it did that anymore. I thought it actually gave you, oh, it messed up the slashes too. Okay, don't drag and drop it then. Don't, that's just bad. Never drag and drop things. Bad things happen. Bad things happen. All right, so we've got culture chooser, theme chooser. All our choosers are in place. We have the JavaScripts to do things. And then I need to call the interop. Let me go back and I'll do a little copy paste again. So if I go to my book examples in under shared, I think it's in here, theme chooser.razor, and then I can swap these. So this is the actual call that I need. And before I can do that, I need to inject something here. I need to say inject JavaScript, JS runtime. JS. I like to just call it JS for short. And then inside my theme, I'm calling await here, so I'm gonna have to change this to a task. Then I can call task await. And then I will call theme chooser set theme. And then I pass in the theme name, which is actually just going to be the value here. and that should change my value. Now, in this version of the code, it looks for an ID of theme. So let me go ahead and set that on my link. And now it can find it and replace it. Let's see if that actually worked. So now it should actually replace the theme when I choose that box. And then we'll do another tab bankruptcy here. I don't think I need all these tabs open. Should be able to come in, select a theme, and say dark. And it did nothing. Why did it do nothing? Let's see. I don't have any console errors. And I have, oh, I still have 2 links here. Why do I have 2 links still? So either it's cached something or it's a server-side rendering issue. So I didn't think it was doing server-side rendering, but we shall check. So if I look at the head, now I have an idea theme. So is caching. It's a caching issue. Theme, dark. Boom, there we go. Dark mode is enabled. All right. And then theme. Uh-oh. I don't like that. I can't put the drop-down box down again. What in the heck happened there? Light. Theme. Why do I have to close my settings to get my drop-down back? Dark. And then... oh, there it goes. That was weird. The first time I did it, it would not let me select that drop-down again. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Panda Z27. That's exactly the problem I'm facing here is programming in Twitch is all the ghosts are going to come out of the machine right now. Yeah, this type of content definitely exists. We're doing some programming. There's a lot of it, actually. A lot of it. I don't know how you stumbled onto my tiny little stream here, but we have a huge community of people that do this, and we're a little light today, actually, with 16 viewers. But we usually have about 30 plus, and then there's other streams like the Unreal Engine stream has about, I'd say, like 800 people at a time that are looking at how to program games in the Unreal Engine, which is really cool to watch, which they actually might be on right now. Not that any of you should leave me, but they are doing that type of stuff usually on Fridays. Do I only do HTML? No, I do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, C#, and SQL if I have to. Never done SQL on the show. That'd probably lose some folks. Clicked a link from Reddit. Oh, very nice. I didn't know I was on Reddit. So, yeah, that's cool. I'd like to see the link if you still have it, so I can maybe share it or something. If you have it, post it in the chat room if it'll let you. Careful, the bot is a little overzealous and likes to squash links. Like to learn some more C#. So I'm doing what's called Blazor, and Blazor is C# for web programming. So you'll see me mix in a little bit of JavaScript here, but on this view, I'm actually using C# right here. So this is all C# code that is powering my little drop-down box that I just toggled the 2 themes with, and it's going back and forth between the light and dark theme with some C# code that's actually calling into JavaScript code. So that's pretty cool. Nice. Somebody posted this. Let me find out. Oh, Peter. Thank you. Thank you very much. That actually brought new people into the show. I appreciate that, Peter. So Mr. Peter Morse, somebody that frequents the show and somebody I'm friends with online here with the Blazor community, posted that link. So that was awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Kiersik. Good stuff. I don't know if we'll get into his project sometime soon again, but I will do some state management here eventually. And I don't know if his project will be overkill for what I'm doing or not, but we may give that a try. He's got a good state management tool for Blazor called Flexor. Blazor Fluxer. He also runs the Blazor University website. So if you're new to Blazor, Blazor University is a good resource. Blazor University, I'll pop a link in the chat here. There's the, that's Peter's website. It's very, very good. Let's see here. So I've got my light and dark theme swappability here. So something I should probably do. So I'm going to default to the light theme. That's going to be my default. I'm actually going to put that here. So there's the default. Well, right now the default is the light theme. I did have it automatic. I'm wondering if on page load, I should just detect the theme automatically and set it. The problem is whenever you change themes on the fly, it's probably hard to see on the stream. It may not pick up every frame of this. Whenever you change any theme on the fly, there's always a little flash that happens. And this kind of jumps around over here. Especially when there's images and stuff involved, it kind of jumps around a little bit. It's not too apparent. It doesn't happen but that time you select it. But if I'm doing that on the application load, that might be a little strange. So if I have this set to light, and then you set it to dark, and you come into the application, it may flicker every time you open the app the first time. That might get annoying. We'll have to see if that happens. That is what I liked about the automatic detection that I had before, is it doesn't have any flicker because it loads the light and dark resources. The only bad part about that is it does it loads 2 sets of style sheets all the time. So there's a little bit of a trade-off with these things, as always. Let's think about this. Let's see what we can do here. A little baby step thing, I think. So first thing is, when I come into the app, I want to have an automated setting. So the theme here will be auto, and this is actually going to be the default setting. And I'm going to remove that one. The theme value is tricky here. So this is where, actually, we'll say this is auto. And then what I need to do is somehow, I have set theme as this JavaScript file here. Let's put this on this side for a second. If I'm setting this to auto, it's not going to just pass the theme value in. Why don't I do this? This may seem like overkill, but instead of just setting the theme, what if I have set auto, which is a whole different function, and it doesn't have any sort of logic I pass in. There's no parameters. It's not going to do anything like that. And instead, I don't normally duplicate entire sections of code like that. We can always refactor. Okay, we can rework this when we get a working prototype. So we'll add a we're setting it to auto, see, here's where the issue comes in again. Let's revert some changes here. Let's go to the index page, and I'm going to say source control undo. Yes. I need to add my theme chooser back here. Like that. That's okay. Now I have two links again. So we got the first part working. We're going to work on the second part here. And I don't have an ID to work off of with these. So I'm going to put a data dash attribute in here. Data dash theme equals auto. Because I want this to be on by default. This is going to be when the application loads, the state that it is in. Is the automatic? Nope. Nope. Hang on. Let me go back. Is it going to let me? No. Shoot. The default actually should be the light theme, I think. I know I'm flip-flopping on this a little bit, but trust me here. Need that to be an ID of theme so we can find it with our JavaScript. So what we'll do here is we'll actually hook up an event that we call at the very beginning when the application loads. What we'll do is we'll call let's call this init for now. Take in no parameters, and we will say match media dot hang on a second. Let me find something really quick. I'm going to look into some docs here real fast. Match media. So I want to call match media. It's just that. That's all I needed. I don't need to set an event listener and all that nonsense. What I want to do is call match media. I'm gonna trade some things off here when I do this. I'm not sure I'm happy with it. But I can always go back and undo things if I want to, as you saw a minute ago. Source control, not going to hit undo here, but I'm going to hit compare with unmodified because I want to grab a media query from this. What I'm going to do is when the application loads, if the user's preference is automatic, it's going to check for the dark theme. We'll see if we can detect that dark theme and set it ourselves. Oops. So we'll say if it's dark, then we'll match this media query. If it is not dark, we will do nothing. If it is dark, then we will call set theme. All right, so we're going to call set theme and set the theme to dark. We will call this init function when the application loads. So we could do that in the index page, actually. Or we could do it... Let's see here. we could do it from the C# side of things. We could also do it from the .NET side of things. Let's do it from the JavaScript side for now. And see how this works, because this is all happening outside of Blazor anyhow. So what I mean by that is these links exist outside of this app tag. So Blazor really doesn't have any interest in it anyway. So if I say script, window dot theme chooser dot init, then this script should initialize. Let's double check that. We'll just do a quick check here and say console, or sorry, console. Wait, switching between JavaScript and C# in my head is not working out today. Log init. Just make sure this gets called. It's F5 here. Let's run this. Let's see if we can do automatic theme detection that's not in the link media attribute. So I have the light theme selected on my OS. Let's say theme, themes and settings. I'll pull that up. Sorry, a little ADD moment here. I'm just going to bounce around for a bit. Inspect the page. Check the console. Did we initialize? Cannot read property init of undefined. So when I load this not that that means yet another header, but it'd be great if the browser sent that to the server. Yeah, it's not. It's something that's always debated. Like when does the client load? How do you know what the client's settings and needs are? Some of that stuff gets sent to the browser. The rest of the stuff relies on browser APIs, like JavaScript calls to do that. There we go. So we are hitting that init event. So now if I change my theme color to dark, it's not going to change the app immediately. Or did it? Wait a minute. Okay, no. This is not selecting the right theme, though. Something's not right here. Let me refresh this. Something is gone awry. Main CSS should be light. Why am I on a dark theme? How did it pick a dark theme here? Close all tabs. I need to set this back to dark, or sorry, to light. This is set to light. Empty cache. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. This is goofy. Empty cache, hard reload. I should get a light theme here. Why am I not getting a light theme? So, theme dark. If I look at my source code, I don't have theme dark. Why is it going theme dark on me? When I call init, when I call init and I initialize, if it's dark, it sets the theme to dark. This should not be coming back as true. Let's try this. We'll do another console log and just make sure is here. We'll move this init down to the bottom. We know it's being called, so we'll do this here. I'll use a little string magic here. And we will say init is dark. We'll write that out to the console as well. and see if it's actually coming up as true. It should not be coming up as true. Media query list. Oh, it's coming back as a media query list. I'm doing this wrong. I did some bad JavaScript is what I did. This should say matches. I didn't call the matches property. So isDark was coming back as an object instead of a true false. And this is why, folks, I like C# and I hate JavaScript, because I would not have caught that error I would have caught that error in C# long before it happened. It wouldn't have compiled at all. So bad on you, JavaScript, for making me miss that. Yeah, I could have done TypeScript, and then I have to add like 5 config files to my application. I won't rant. So fix that problem. Now I should get a light theme. Light theme is here. Yay, light theme. And if I toggle this to a dark theme, it will not change automatically. I have to refresh my application, and it will set there. Yeah, and learn TypeScript. TypeScript is great, but when you're writing 12 lines of JavaScript, it's not necessary to add. So if I wanted to add TypeScript to this project, my 13, 15, let's call it 20 lines of JavaScript code would turn into 25 lines of TypeScript plus 4 config files to manage the compilation of the TypeScript. And I don't feel like doing all that work. So I can set now. So the automatic theme detection is happening right here. This is my automatic theme detection. So if match media is that, then I call main dark. Now, this doesn't follow my rules set in here. If I set it to light and then I reload the application, then I'm back on dark and the setting is gone. So I need to maintain the setting. And then I also need to call back that setting here and say that if the theme is automatic, then do this. So let's put a little pseudocode here. If is auto, then set the theme automatically. So we'll detect and set the theme there. And if it's not auto, then it's just going to do nothing and it will use the user's setting. No. No, it won't. We need to still set the theme. So we need to set it to the user setting there. Actually, we would want to do this backwards. We would say if it is not automatic, because automatic is the default. I want that to be the default. So if it's not automatic, now this still applies. If the setting is automatic, we do that. I know I can refactor this somehow. I'm trying to think through it here. Let's see if, or sorry, we want an else in here. Else, we do that. So we need to pull the user setting in here somewhere. So I want to get the user setting. So I don't know if this is going to be a perfect example of state management, because I think what I'm going to do here is the same thing that I did for the culture chooser, is I'm just going to use local storage again. So if I do local storage in the same fashion I did it there, what I would end up with is a get function. So I'd call window.local storage, and I would say let's call it theme setting. Theme setting. Sorry, we'll call this let theme setting equal window local storage theme setting. And I don't remember the null coalescing operator for JavaScript. We'll tack that on in a minute. Let's see. If there's a theme setting, then there's a theme setting at all, then we'll call set theme. So this, again, I think I want to reverse the logic on it. We'll just say if the theme setting is not undefined, then we will set the user's theme there. Otherwise, we will automatically set the theme. Hopefully this makes sense to everybody. I'm trying to think through it as I type it here. So right now I don't have any local storage for theme setting. So this should do automatic setting. And then also, let's go ahead and console.log theme setting here, just to make sure. So if I control F5 this, now it will, whoops, I don't want to do that yet. Inspect console undefined. And it auto-detected dark. So right now, undefined is what I expect, because we haven't set anything. If I refresh, I get my light theme. My automatic detection works. That is good. So the next thing I want to do is, if I select a theme, I'm going to go in and save that setting. So I'm going to do the opposite of this. And I want to save my local storage to the theme name. So we'll do this at the end here. We'll call window.localStorage theme setting, and we'll pass the value. And then the next time around, it should get that value back, and then it will fail to be undefined, and it will set the theme. Makes sense? What if it is null? So I don't know if there's an instance where it could be null, because theme setting was, when it didn't exist, it's undefined. I just checked that because I've never set here. If I take this back out, unless it's a browser issue, like other browsers, do other JavaScript engines return a null? That I'm not sure about. If theme setting, if not theme setting, would that work as well? Whoops. See, that may be a JavaScripty thing that I just didn't think about. So I could just say, if it's not theme setting, instead. Does that do the same thing? That failed miserably. So we can do this in the console, actually. It looks like it failed. It comes back as undefined. So we can test these various things here. So window.local storage, if we call that, it is undefined. And if we say, I don't know if you guys can see this, I'll zoom in. Theme setting, if I say not, it comes back as true. So it's the reverse. That doesn't make sense. This is where JavaScript gets weird, because if I say not Windows storage, it's true, then if local storage is a value and I say not, it comes back false then. So this reverses my logic again, but theme setting. Here, let's make this a little more obvious. Let's say let is theme set equals not theme setting. Could try that. Let's see. That's kind of what I did, but I made it look nice. I don't know if you caught that. There's a little bit of a delay in the stream. So yeah, that actually works. This is where I think good naming practices help. This actually worked out well. So I'll show you what I did. It's the same exact thing that you just mentioned in chat there, Kirsik. So I double knotted here, but since I moved it to a variable and named it, it came off less abstract. And so I'm checking to see if there's a theme setting, and then I'm gonna say is it set, and saying is it set is just not theme setting. And then down here I say if it's not set, then do this thing. I could also just reverse the logic here and take that not out. So I could do this. It's really the same thing. It's all semantics. But both would have been appropriately fine. I like the fact that I'm saying is theme set here and then doing not theme setting. You know my intent. Yeah. Exactly. So I think you understand my intent better this way. But yeah, that works too. Is theme not set sounds like a mouthful to me. And then we can just use that same logic there. So let's look. This should function exactly the same way. So it detected my dark theme. It will detect my light theme. If I refresh now, I get my light theme. And then I took out my save. So let's go back and add our save. If I say window.local storage theme setting value. And then I set it. That should actually be all I need. So if I set the theme now, I'm going to define my OS, set it to dark, and then refresh. It didn't work. So this is where the not logic might not have not worked. Let's try that again. Dark. Close it. Oh, you know what? Let's do empty cache. Inspect. Empty cache. Hard reload. Let me make sure that it is named appropriately. Theme setting. Value gets stashed. Let's see if we actually save the value there. So let's refresh that page. Let's see if we saved a value there. We can actually see this if we go to application and then scroll down a bit. Here, I need to zoom out. Local storage, Blazor culture. It's not saving the key. Why is it not saving my information? Window.local storage theme setting equals value. Oh, because it's not value, it's theme name. Yay. I broke it. All right. So let's try that one more time. That should actually do it. I should have known better than to expect things to work the first time. Dark theme, which is not the current theme setting of my OS. Let's do, just a regular refresh, and it stayed dark. And it shouldn't matter if I change from light to dark here. Refresh, the application stays dark. So there we go. We've got the theme selection. Now if I go back to auto, though, this breaks my... That falls apart. And that's because now it's set. So what I want to do here is... Hang on a second. I need to look this up. Local delete local storage. Boom. So if I delete an item from local storage, no, I don't want to know I don't want to clear it all either. Holy cow. Remove item. Oh, come on. Don't tell me this is like some ridiculously hard thing to do. Remove item, your key. There we go. So what I actually want to do here is if theme name is auto. If theme name is auto, ooh, I see a bug. I'm going to get it right now. If theme name is auto, it goes all the way up here. If the theme name is auto, then I will do window.local storage theme setting local storage dot remove item theme setting, and then after I remove it from local storage, I will call this .init and reinitialize the theme on the page, and then I will skip the link replacement routine and the saving of the key value. Did that make sense? I hope it did to the computer, because it's the one that's going to toggle my theme or not. But hopefully that made sense to you all as well. This is how we spend a half a day figuring out how to name variables exactly. So let's see if this works. So I'm loading my theme here. I could have swore I set that to dark. Let's do a quick inspect here. I want to watch my application theme setting. Oh, it's set to auto right now. When did I set that to auto? Oh, when I broke it, I set it to auto. That's right. So it's set to auto. That should never happen. Delete. That's the only time you're ever going to see that set to auto. So let's refresh. So it's automatic. Nope, it's not automatic. Empty cache, hard reload, maybe. My system theme is dark and it's auto detecting It's auto-detecting light now. I saw the key pop up in here. Why? Why did it do that? Oh, okay. That's a temporary thing and it disappeared. Console has an error. That's where it is. Cannot read property init of undefined at blah, blah, blah. Why is it coming up as a property? Oh, I've got a missing semicolon. My other favorite JavaScript oddity. So open, nope, I'm missing a curly brace. Yet another friendly JavaScript oddity. No, I'm not missing a curly brace. That can't be right. It's a very simple syntactic error. I'm missing something. What is it? We're going to play find that missing comma, semicolon, or space in here somewhere. What is it? Identifier expected. So something is off. Too many? Is it too many? It was too many curly braces. That's what did it. Thank you, JavaScript, for yet another moment. Thank you, Mr. Bong, for catching that for me. I think we caught him at the same time. If I would have read the chat room, though, you would have got it first. Appreciate the help. If I go to light theme, I now have toggled to the light theme. And now if I do inspect and I say console and it's application, theme setting is now main, which is my light theme. If I say dark, then it now says main dark. And if I say auto, it will remove. If I say auto, it should have removed that value. If theme name equals auto, then remove the item theme setting. Then call init. Why did it set it to auto? Because I left this outside the curly braces where it doesn't belong. That's why. This is where a unit test would have been handy, huh? So the unit test could have said if theme setting, yada, yada, yada. So now I should be able to call auto, and it didn't delete it because, let's try empty cache, hard reload. Set this to auto. It didn't delete it because why? Why did it not delete it? Let's make sure this is how you delete something from local storage. So go to console, we'll put that right straight in there. Came back as undefined, window, local storage. And it has 2 items in it still. No, it does not. So I was able to remove local storage there. Let's try application. It's gone. Is this not getting called? Is that not getting called? Console.log. Remove item. Let's double check that. Make sure it's removing that item. So we will look at our page again. Console says it's initialized. Application says there is a theme setting called dark. If I go in here and I say auto, remove item was called, theme setting is still there. Frustrating. So if I call it directly like that, it's gone. If I refresh the page, it comes back. What? So local storage isn't persisting my change. Is there another... Local storage, remove item. It's not clearing it. That's a weird one. I want to blame this on JavaScript. I know it's not a JavaScript thing. This is a browser thing, I believe. Am I getting it, setting it again later? I don't think so. Because I say if it's auto, then remove the item. I'm not setting it on initialization anywhere. Set theme. Oh, I am setting it. Set theme, dark theme. And then that, in turn, I've got a loop. You're right. I've got a loop. I've got a loop. Got like not an infinite loop, but since I'm using the same function on init, I need a different function here. So I need to break this up. I've got set theme, which is actually setting it, setting the link up in the browser. But this is one of those things where my separation of concerns is very muddy, or there isn't any. I want to call set theme, but I don't want to call save theme. I need another one. I need another function here called change theme. Like that. And so I want to change the theme, but I don't want to set the local storage bits. So I want to call change theme from my initialization function, but I don't want to set it. So I want to call change theme here. And what change theme is going to do is all of this, like so. And then set theme will save it, like that. And then set theme will also call this dot change theme name, like that. Good catch there. Good catch. Thank you, Chrisick. Good catch. So change theme will literally change the theme. We also don't want to remove in here anymore. Do we? Because that actually could start looping again. So set theme, if I call set theme, and it's auto, I still want to remove it. I don't like that. So I want to call change theme on initialization. I want to call set theme when I'm actually setting it from my dialog. But do I want... No, I don't want this in here. I want this in my set theme because let's do this. We'll say set theme to auto. We will remove the item from local storage. Then separate management of storage away from changing the theme, so you can call them independently, put them together and do it at the same time. Yeah, that's kind of... So I want to have a couple different routines here. I want to be able to set the theme. I want to initialize it as well. So what I want to do is I want to call change theme every time the app loads if it's set to automatic, because I want to change the theme from light to dark depending on the user's setting. The other thing I want to do is if the user has a setting, I want to change the theme, but I don't need to worry about storing anything at that point. So I'm going to skip that storage phase there. When I change the theme to automatic, that would be done actually from set theme only, wouldn't it? So I don't even know if I need that here. So let's see here. If I change the theme, if I'm changing the theme, I'm telling it which theme to load. If I'm setting the theme, then I'm going to remove an item from storage and change the theme. And then if it's automatic, I'll call initialization because it's going to call change theme two different ways. I could probably pull one more function out of here to make this a little bit clearer. Let's just double check and make sure this works first. So it picked up dark because it has a application theme setting set to dark. If I change it to light, I should get a light setting. If I change it to automatic, oh, it's doing the drop down thing again where it won't let me select a drop down. It did that to me once before. That was weird. Automatic, it still saved freaking auto in there. Darn it. So if I set the theme to automatic, oh, I didn't put an else. Jeez, I'm doing really bad today with this. Simple stuff is catching me left and right. It's like I'm not even here. All right. Try that one more time. I think I have everything I need. I need to fix... boop, boop, boop. I need to fix this by deleting it and reloading the application. So if I say light theme, there's my light, there's main. If I say dark, there's that. If I say auto, it goes away. If I refresh the page, I get automatic detection back. Everything works fine. Let's clarify what's happening here just a little bit more. This is responsible for changing the theme and changing the theme only. This is calling, this is setting the theme based on, actually let's make the calling logic the same here. Instead of calling it again, I think that's a little misleading. We will set up a final function right here. Let's do this. Called auto. We'll say auto detect theme. And that one will auto detect the theme. And let's see, how do I want to do that? Yeah, that I think is our right to move here. And then we will call this. I know it's just moving variables out at the moment. Oops. But it will make sense, I promise. No. Let's move that back. Move it right back there for just a second. So here I'm actually auto-detecting the theme and then changing it, but I have the if statements out of whack. Or no, that's fine. That works. So I can say this dot auto detect theme. So now the initialization process is responsible for checking local storage. And then if it has a theme, it's going to choose to auto detect, or it's going to change the theme itself. Now, up here, instead of calling init again, which is kind of wacky, we will, that is a very technical term, by the way, wacky. We will say, it's a little better code read, I think. A little better definition of responsibility here. And set theme is responsible for setting local storage. And then it will also go ahead and call a change. It will either auto detect the theme or change the theme. Our initialization function is just responsible for changing the initial theme. I like that better. And that should work. That wasn't a very big code change. Let's see what it does. So we have automatic detection now. So if I say light, then it will initialize the light theme when I reload. If I say override this and set it to dark, then I get my dark theme. If I say auto and I refresh the page, then I get that back. Now there's a little UX problem that I just discovered, if you didn't notice that. So you don't need to set the theme to main if is dark is false. If your preference is light, if you need to select a dark theme, then auto should change it to main. I think I follow what you're saying. So my default is main. So if it is dark, then I change it to dark. I already don't, if I'm following you correctly. So when I look at my theme setting, I call auto detect. Auto detect checks if it's dark. If it's dark, I change the theme. If it's not dark, I don't do anything. I'm not sure if I follow that, Mr. Bong. Don't you need to set the theme to main if is dark is false? If your preference is light. Yeah, okay, maybe I do follow you. All right, that's the UX thing I was just talking about. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. Great minds think alike. So my default theme is light. So if I go and I select dark, and then I select auto, you'll see the theme change only when I select light and dark, but not when I select auto. So the reason for that is what Mr. Bong pointed out, that there's no logic in there to toggle it. So instead of setting it where it doesn't need to be set, let's see. Oh, thanks for the Love Core, the subscription. Take my money. Alrighty. Only if this is a legit account. Alright. Looks legit to me. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. Sometimes you'd be surprised at some weird stuff that pops up in here. Sorry about that if I offended anyone. Alright. So I should always do a set theme, it looks like, if I go to auto. So if I'm calling it from a init, then I don't want to I don't think I need to change themes because, I mean, it's already there. It's already that link. So what I might want to do here, Ardell's, Mr. Steve Smith, thank you very much for the raid. We're in our final moments here, but not too much longer. We're still trying to figure out some little quirky things with this theming function that I've got going on here. So what I probably want to do is I want to maybe pass a flag. I know that sounds messy. But if I want to auto-detect the theme, and I want to... I may want to... Oh, you got your caching problem sorted. Cool. It's all in eShop Web. Nice. Nice. Was that interface supported by Blazor directly, or did you have to use something else? You were looking at using like iMemory cache or something like that. Did that end up working? Like natively as you expected, or was there like a extra like community resource or something, or hand-coded, custom-coded thing? If I'm calling auto-detect theme from the initialization, then I might want to suppress changing from light to dark. If I'm calling auto-detect theme from the drop-down box, then I may want to enforce that we change the theme to the selected theme, or back to light theme. Oh wait, I think I might have, no, that won't work either because it could be dark. What if I do else if we'll just say flag here. What if I check another flag and it's only when I call it from set theme? Then I'll change it to main. Oh. So here's the thing. When I call it from, I don't want to always be overwriting this link every time the application loads if I don't need to. Actually, wonder what that actually could do. What harm could it do? Let's do this. Let's pop in the else, even though it's somewhat unnecessary. And then let's track this in the browser for a minute. Let's see if there's any noticeable anything. So if I go into my elements here, I'm going to kind of watch this if it does anything at all. So will it detect that change? It's happening so quick, either that does nothing or... Let's try this. So main gets called in. Yeah, now that... I'm going to take the init function out for a moment. I want to try best case scenario. So if I take this out, no theme no theme swapping or anything is going to happen. All right, why am I getting 2 page loads? I've got a double payload here. Oh wait, no, yeah. So is this server-side rendering throwing me a curveball? Why am I getting 2 sets of... I've got my theme twice, and I've got main CSS twice. Why? Why is the network pulling 2 resources twice? Is it coming from the server? If I go to www.root, no, not www.root, hosts, controllers, pages, shared layout. I'm not getting 2 Telerik UI for Blazor CSS files. I don't even think I have an app CSS anymore. Definitely not using bootstraps. It's not coming from here. I'm not getting it from there. Why am I getting 2 HTML resources here? Is it... I removed it from... So theme chooser is not enabled for the initialization right now. Why am I getting 2 of these calls? That is so strange. If I look at my page, head, so the initialization function isn't happening. Theme chooser's in there, but that shouldn't affect anything right now. So I've got this link. I've got this one being called twice as well. Why in the heck is that happening? This has nothing to do with what I just did because... Disable cache? Caching disabled? Maybe it's something to do with the service worker. Because this is a PWA as well. I'm only seeing the CSS. Let's see what happens to everything. Oh, I think I know what it is. It has something to do maybe with authentication. Let me log out. Now there's main twice. Let's try that again. Empty cache, hard reload. There's an error here. Login callback error, requested state. So something to do with everything's getting called twice. Like literally everything is getting called twice here. Something to do with authentication is doing this. So I'm getting a call for... There's a query string getting tacked on. And it's calling that page twice. Interesting. That's something I'm going to have to track down. That's not due to the code that I just wrote. This is existing already in here. So it's redirecting to get logged in. It's failing and then redirecting back to tell me I'm not logged in. And when it does that, it causes two sets of resources to get called across the wire. And then when I log in, it probably does the same thing. Checks to see if I'm logged in, pulls the resources, jumps back. And there's the one main CSS there. So I didn't see it on that final jump because, yeah. So that's what it is. So I hit the page, it's not logged in. It redirects off the page to log in, logs in, redirects back to the page. I get two calls of resources from that. I think that would normally be cached, but there is something in here that's got cache disabled because of the PWA and it being in development mode. I think I can set that to a different setting in my client config here. I can't remember where the setting is at, but when you publish this, you may not see that hit twice because it's going to cache it. So I guess I'd have to look and see if that resource is loaded a third time if I do this. And then I also might be able to take this initialization function out. So do I see 3 CSS loads in here? No, I only see the 2. So it doesn't load that resource a second time. So I don't think it's going to take any kind of performance hit, and it'll solve my problem to go ahead and check the theme and set it back to light if it was not already light. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. So if I come back and I say theme light, doesn't do anything. Dark. Oh, my drop down didn't work again. This is so weird. My drop down randomly stops working when I change themes sometimes. Let's see. Light, dark, auto. And it changed back to light. So that works now. So the theme chooser works perfectly fine. Let's see, what else do we have here that we can pick at real quick? So the settings get, oh, I know what doesn't happen. In theme chooser, when theme chooser loads, we need to set the default value from here. We need another function called getTheme. GetTheme. And we're going to call local storage theme settings and return that value back. And then we can also change this out and say oh, nope. I grabbed the wrong one. I want this. My bad. This needs to be what goes up here. Window, local storage, theme settings, and then we'll call get theme here. This dot get theme. Because we need to get the theme from here. So we will do we'll try on initialize first. I don't know if that's the correct way to do this. On overrides, on initialized. Come on, IntelliSense. On initialize async. And we need to tweak this a little bit. It's supposed to be async task on initialize async, and we will call await JS dot invoke async string theme chooser dot get theme, and it should give us back the theme. And then we can call selected theme equals theme. We actually don't even need to do all that. We can just say selected theme equals, unless it's not a value. So in here, let's see. If it's not a value, it's going to come back as what? If it's string, yeah, so let's do this. Sorry, let's go back to var theme. And then we can say if, let's see, selected theme equals theme, question mark. Hey, Neo Ash. Neo Ashy, how are you doing? Welcome back. Oh, sorry if I didn't catch anybody up on what we were doing. Sorry, I got a little lost in the little problem we were solving. In the Blazor coffee app that we're building, just to catch up the new folks that just joined us, we're working on a theme selection interop. And what it does, if I select my light theme, it will override the automatic theme detection. So if it's automatic, it detects the OS theme, light or dark. And if I set one of these, it overrides the OS theme detection. So right now, if I set that to dark, you can see my system is set to light. And if I come back into my app, if I didn't break the code here, it maintains that dark theme. And I'm saving that in some local storage in the browser. So the browser can remember my theme preferences for my application. So the next thing I want to do is take that persisted theme setting and make sure that the drop-down always displays the selected theme. Because right now, it does not. It just shows a blank drop-down box, which is not. Hey, cool. Somebody bought one of my Power Glove t-shirts. I'm actually wearing one of mine today. So these are, I'm surprised you found that. They're not, I'll post a link, but this is the Blazor Power Glove shirt, which I have an emoji for. And I don't know if that was somebody that's actually in the chat room that did that, because if you buy from the website in general, if you have a Twitch account, I think it will pop that up. So thank you for that. The t-shirts I made for the community, there's nothing like I'm going to retire on. Let's see if I can find that real quick. It's actually on the show page, I think. So if you go to the Twitch page that you're on and you scroll down, I think it's in there. It's been a while since I've mentioned that on the show. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So if I go to my own channel and I cross the streams here. Yeah. If you scroll down, there's a couple Blazor Power Glove logo shirts and mugs and things that are on there. Hey! Jet Girl Art. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the shirt. They're really nice. I'm wearing one right now, as you saw. If you all scroll down, you can see them there. Cool stuff. Appreciate that. Let's see. So we want to make sure that dialog box shows the selected theme. So we want to do that. And if we say selected theme, and again, it could be nothing. So if we get nothing back, sorry, I want to say string is null or empty. If we get back nothing from the theme, then we will choose auto. Otherwise, we'll give back the theme. Cool. So now let's see what happens. We may have to do that on after render instead of on initialized. Depends on when that JavaScript is available. So right now I didn't get anything. Why didn't I get anything? Let's check the console. I don't see any errors. Let's try reload. So if we click on that, the box is empty. Oh, I think I might know why. We have a value changed here, but nothing in here is binding the selected item in the box here. So this actually needs to say value. Yeah, value is selected item or selected theme. So we need to set the value to be displayed there. And then also we need to set it here. So value, selected theme equals value. So when we change it, it should persist there as well. Let's try that. Now if I click on my wheel, dark is selected. Awesome. If I select light, I reload the application, come back, light is still selected. I say auto, come back, and auto is selected. So now we're persisting the data back into our drop-down box, and it shows up as the selected item. So the little trick to that was that for some reason I forgot to set the actual value of the box. So there's a couple things that go into a drop-down in HTML in general, but if you're doing any kind of Blazor development, you're going to find this. This is using the Telerik drop-down list, but any drop-down list usually functions about the same here. And the thing is, we're giving it data, so we're giving it the things to bind to. So it's binding to this list of theme settings, which have a text value and a theme value. The text field comes from theme text. The value field comes from theme value, but the selected value, which I'll move down here, comes from a separate field that is not related to this, because we're just going to stash the value portion of it as a string in that field. I hadn't set that yet, that's why it never showed up. So now when we click on the drop down, it will set that value, and it will also populate that selected value, showing it in the drop down when the page loads. So we did that. All right, so let's see. I accidentally closed, there's my chat room again. Off-topic question. When do you suggest to use state management like Fluxor in a Blazor app? Fluxor or Blazor State are both very good solutions. I would say you probably need to use those things when state management becomes difficult. So right now, we've got 2 state items that we're pushing in. I didn't quite get to the... Is this an old cache version? I think so. I didn't quite get to the state management part of this that I wanted to. I'll probably do that next week on the show. So what I want to do next is I want to store more than these 2 items in local storage. What I want to store is just little things. Like when I load the application, I don't want to keep popping this up. I may put that in local storage, but then, you know, how many keys am I going to start polluting my local storage with? Do I want to put some more complex objects in there? When should those state items get loaded? Do they get loaded on the app initialization? Do they get loaded on a specific component when it's opened or closed? Or when I'm on a certain page, do I persist the state data back from the grid? It's going to get a lot more complex. So we'll add what's called app state first. That's just going to be a plain class object that stores some basic values. And if we see that like we're moving from page to page, or we're changing the state and things aren't updating in the rest of the application where they're supposed to, that's when we might want to pull in a more robust state manager, something that has what's called a store, or a single source of record, and it's gonna help shape the data as it's going in and out of state. So you may do some sort of state change. You might have a method that runs on that event and then shapes some certain data from, say, maybe your dialog box you have open and the selections you're making, or the grid state itself, and it might pull certain values out and put those into storage. And then when you're getting those values out, there might be some manipulation you want to run, some data modeling or something. That's when you need something like Fluxor. It does a lot more than just save values. It does it in a way that's, what do you call it? It's more like functional programming, I guess, where you're watching your state mutations and stuff like that. When you have a state manager in store, would you have a view model to help get the data from the store and back into? I don't know if you'd call it, I mean, you could call it a view model, but there's like a pattern that's there. So there's already a pattern in place. Let's see, deprecated project. Where did he move it to? Superseded Fluxor's now. All right, let's try that one. There we go. So there is a, let's see what's under docs here. That's what I was looking for, the reducer. So you would have the reducer, and then you have your state. There's also the dispatcher, which can help. It calls into the reducer, and you can pass certain functions and stuff. these actions and reducers and things might do the same thing that your MVVM pattern is also doing. So it's something that needs to be kind of looked at more in detail. What each of these things does. You may still want to use a view model with that, but some of these reducers might actually do the same function as a view model might. Just depends, I guess, on what it looks like. We'll mess around with some state management here on the next show, I believe, because I didn't get to this part. I don't want to keep closing and minimizing this, so I want to save that. I want to save the grid state when you're filtering things and looking up views like this. I want to be able to persist that so it doesn't reset every time you come back to the page. There's ways we can do that. I don't think we want to stash everything in individual local storage keys. So we'll look at some state management next time. It's getting a little late here, so I'm going to have to call it quits for the day today. I wanted to do one last thing before I go, though. I'm going to try to switch over. Sorry for the really large zoom on my face here for a moment, but I want to switch over to something here. So full screen for a moment. I've got this package here. This is my Microsoft MVP award for 2020 through 2021. And I haven't opened it yet. So these are nice. If you're a Microsoft MVP, you get one of these, and I'll answer questions here in a minute about the MVP program if anybody has any. But I just wanted to show how Microsoft does this. They send these packages in the mail to all the MVPs when you get your what do you call it? Not submission, but your acceptance, I guess, into the program. And they have this nice package that shows up, and you get like this. You open it up. It says thank you, of course, and you get a nice wall plaque in here. So there's a plaque that's got your name. The green screen's kind of having fun with it, but it's got a signature from Satya on it, and it kind of identifies the year and everything on there. So it's nice to hang up at work if you still have an office these days. I don't. I hang mine up on the wall behind me. If I don't have the green screen up, you can see it. You get the stickers for your laptop and all the good stuff there for displaying your MVP. And then there's this really cool part. If you open this package up, there's some paperwork in here for NDA and all that good stuff. Code of conduct, which is necessary these days. People are people. There's some instructions on how to do some cool stuff in there, like you can get like a recommendation letter for work and things like that through the program, which is nice. And then there's of course my ID card for in-person events if they ever happen again. Those are always the nice parts of all this, by the way. And then get the rings. So this ring goes on this nice desk trophy thing. You may have seen these online for people posting them on Twitter. Let's see here. Sorry, I lost my chat room while I'm doing this because I can't see what I'm showing without the camera. So this is the desk trophy thing, and the ring goes right there on the side. And each year that you're accepted into the program, you get one, and then you get. I guess next year I get the 5-year ring. I thought it'd be this year, but there is a 5-year that goes in between here, and oh, you're at a Microsoft MVP, Kirsik, you got one, but no rings. You should get a ring. You have no ring holder. That's odd. Is that a new thing? I hope they didn't discontinue the ring holder, because it's very cool. It's from... Oh, it was a special one for X and A. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Very cool. And then there's the lapel pin, which is magnetic. And I always do that. I always lose the magnet part in the back, even though it's supposed to pop off. But it fell in there. I got to dig that out after the show and get the magnet side to the lapel pin. And I'll probably... I used to put them on my hats, but they went magnetic and they fall off now. They used to be a pin. So that's very cool. And if you have any questions about MVP program, feel free to ask me on Twitter or here on the show. It's been really good to me. I miss the in-person events, though. That was really the highlight of the program for me. And they'll be back someday when all this madness is over. So hopefully, I'd say probably 2022. The MVP Summit is the highlight of the year, and we're missing out. So thanks for the congrats on that. Like I said, the MVP community is great. If you see any of us on Twitter or online, shoot us a message. Any questions that you have about .NET stuff we're specializing in, just let us know. We're here to help. So let's see. We've got 24 viewers on right now. Let's see if we can raid somebody. Speaking of Microsoft and MVPs, let's go ahead and raid the Visual Studio channel. It looks like Jeff Fritz is streaming there. And Jeff Fritz is a good guy. We'll go over and see what he's up to. I think that's who I see in there. So we're going to go ahead and queue that up. And there's over 600 people in that stream right now. So give everybody a shout out and let them know where you came from. And tell them you're learning about Blazor and having a good time, I hope. So say hi to Jeff Fritz for me. Again, that's who I saw on the preview. I don't know if he's hosting something for other people that are going to be on there or what, but we'll go say hello. Thanks again. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.
We can.
That's a really good point. So, yeah. So here's my Azure Redis repository. If you think of